What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react to a lot of recent statements from several different Canadian premiers, all talking about what they think of the failed U.S. trade deal and what they think of Donald Trump right now and the United States. And so, honestly, I think there's a lot of Americans like me who aren't happy with the way that the US has treated Canada. And, I don't think that the American government is being totally transparent about what's happening right now between our two countries. So today, I'm really curious to hear what some of Canada's leaders have to say about this situation. So let's take a look here. Starting with this is Doug Ford, the Ontario premier, who has been extremely outspoken about a lot of this stuff, right? So I'm very curious what he had to say.
Do you want to respond to these shots? What would you say to the president?
Oh, okay. So he's made some statements in the last few days, apparently, and then Donald Trump got on Truth Social, social media, and he made some crazy rants, some posts about Doug Ford or something. Like it's difficult to actually keep up with everything that's going on, especially the way that like modern politics, especially with Donald Trump. Maybe that's the main thing. The way that he just attacks people on the internet, literally like a troll. But anyway, so I know Trump made some posts attacking Doug Ford for criticizing Trump, and they're asking what he thinks about that.
No, I don't respond to a dictator like President Trump,
Oh,
a bully like President Trump. As I said before, he's the type of guy in school that would take your lunch money one day, take your toque off your head the next day, and then steal your running shoes.
my God. Um, the only reason I'm laughing, honestly, is because of he's so freaking Canadian to throw in the toque thing. That's like the hat, or what do we call it? Like a beanie or like a snow hat, or I don't know. Has a poofy ball, right? A toque. He he had to throw in, oh, he'll steal the toque off your head. But it's true. Oh my God. It's actually given everything that's happened, it's actually refreshing to see these Canadians talking so openly, so brazenly about their true, genuine feelings about Donald Trump. Because, I a part of me wants to say, like, oh, when you're dealing with Trump, you gotta take the high road, even though he would never do that. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump's whole persona, or his strategy, or whatever you want to call it, his insanity, is that he never takes the high road. He'll say anything and everything, truth and lies, exaggerations, or whatever, about anything. Make stuff up to get the message he wants across, to accomplish whatever he wants to accomplish. And it's led him to being the president of the United States. So, I mean, unfortunately, it kind of goes to show you that if you BS your whole life, you can BS your way to the top. Like that's actually a really sad realization, like that you can see with Donald Trump. Like, anyway, so with that being said, I actually don't mind especially these Canadians. I saw a video the other day of Wab Kinew, I think, is the premier of Manitoba, speaking very honestly and openly and kind of aggressively about Donald Trump, just like Doug Ford is here. And I don't mind it. I don't think it's like a cheap shot or especially when it's like we've really reached the point where everything he's saying, like Trump is a bully. He acts like a wannabe dictator. He would steal your lunch money. These are actually just accurate like observations about his character. It's not it's for a lot of other people, you'd be like, "Oh, come on, Doug. Like, come that you don't got to go there, That's an exaggeration, Doug Ford. That's no, this is pretty accurate."
But I'm not going to take any advice off a guy that's the king of bankruptcies.
Oh my God. Is this just going to be Canadian premiers like roasting Donald Trump? Is that what this is going to be? Okay. Why not? Like I said, me and a lot of Americans are not happy with Donald Trump, with all the stuff he's been doing to Canada and more. The stuff that he's threatened to take over Greenland at one point. He's started this total nonsense war with Iran that we can't get out of now. Screw it. It's just to name a few. It's a disaster. So I'm ready to receive this. This could be actually kind of therapeutic. The king of bankruptcies. Didn't he like 6 or 7 Trump owned businesses have like gone bankrupt? I believe that is true, right? Pretty strange for the master of business, the master of the deal. Pretty weird. That's a good point.
And he's actually tariffing his own people, taxing his own people.
Yes. I haven't seen too much Doug Ford stuff. I'm more aware of him now, especially since he's so outspoken about Trump, but I'm starting to appreciate like he's obviously a bit emotional. He is honest and he can be brash, like which can be good qualities, but he strikes a good balance of being very I don't know what's the word for his demeanor. It's very like normal. Like the way he's talking, like saying like, "Oh, F Trump," like, "Oh, he'd steal the toque off your head," like it's very honest and what normal people would think and want to say. So it's cool to see that from a politician. And he strikes a good balance of also remaining very professional as well and very not just candid, but eloquent in what he is saying as well. It's a nice balance, actually.
And I'm going to make sure I communicate through the U.S. media. I'm going to be reaching out to every single governor, every single senator, and every single congressperson. And when it comes to the midterms, I have a message to the Americans. Don't vote in a person that's going to kill your jobs. He ran.
Yeah, I mean, I think you really had to be an American living in the United States to truly understand the circumstances in which Donald Trump was elected for his second term. He made a lot of promises. He was going up against Joe Biden, which then became Kamala Harris, and it was very confusing, and the messaging was bad, and Trump was there with going on podcasts and YouTube and Twitch streams and being running a very modern, very internet savvy political campaign. I don't like to compliment anything Donald Trump does, but I have to say, I do kind of see how he managed to finagle winning his second term, winning the last U.S. election and becoming president, as unbelievable as it seems. And he definitely made a lot of promises that have now been broken, and it has totally ruined a lot of the trust and good faith, which is incredible that he had it to begin with, of course. But so when Doug Ford is saying like the American people should wake up and not be voting in people who are gonna take away our jobs, and I absolutely agree with that, and I feel like there's more Americans now who even some who have voted for Trump, who are starting to have their eyes opened, starting to understand like ever since Trump became president for again, everything has been bad. Nothing has been good. We don't look forward to anything. So I think that's a very true analysis by Doug Ford, and even him talking about the tariffs being a tax on American people. Like the tariff thing came out of nowhere for a lot of Americans. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like, oh, we're tariffing Canada. Oh, okay. Like that's what a lot of Americans kind of reaction was like. Oh, what's tariffs? Let me Google that. What's a tariff? Not understanding what it is. And that's another thing that as time has gone on and we've gotten more and more Donald Trump, more Americans are starting to realize how much damage he's doing, how much damage the tariffs are doing to Americans, even though he says they're supposed to help us. And I think more Americans are not getting fooled by the act so much. So, anyway, that's kind of my American insight into a little bit of what I think Doug Ford is trying to say here.
On creating more jobs. Last time I checked, jobs went down in the U.S. and Ontario created more jobs.
Is that true? Jobs went down in the US, but up in Ontario? Is that true?
I'm just not going to take the bait. This guy's a loser. He's going to be a loser, and simple as that.
Oh my God. You, and here's the funny thing. This gets to Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump is chronically online. He watches this stuff. He cares. He acts like he doesn't care. He acts like it doesn't matter. But he totally cares. So when Doug Ford, oh my God, calls Donald Trump a loser. What a classic. I like that because you can try to get cute. You can try to come up with like, Trump is such an imbecile, moronic, crazy. Sometimes you just got to go to the classics. And I like that, where he's just like, Trump's just a loser. That makes Donald Trump so mad. That's why he's like making posts about Doug Ford for this stuff right here.
We're going to fight with everything we have. And
the people in the background in the helmets are laughing, which they should be because it's funny. I mean, it's not funny because it's all true. I don't know. Don't they say that comedy comes from real life? From some of the darkest things are like there's some dark humor in it all. I don't know what the words are, but what's happening isn't funny. But what Doug Ford here is saying here, it's accurate and also very amusing.
And you know something? I have more courage, more brains in my baby toe than he has in his whole body. So there you go. I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
No way. This is a Canadian government official? Right? He's the premier of Ontario, right? He can say that. He said it. He did it. He can do that. Does he think about these things beforehand, or does he just like say these off the cuff? Because it's like, what? Oh, at least here in the US, politicians don't do this. Politicians aren't this funny, or it's relatable too. It's funny. It's um like I said the other day, I watched Wob Canoe, um who was being sincere in his criticisms of Donald Trump, but also being funny, like because I don't know, it's kind of just like open season to tear into Donald Trump, just rip him apart, and this is like the best I've seen. He can kiss my ass, and he's got plenty of room, plenty of ass available from Doug Ford. Okay, let's keep going. This is the British Columbia Premier calling on Canadians to boycott U.S. travel. I know that a lot of the provinces have banned U.S. alcohol, but a lot of the boycotting, what I understand, has been like sort of the Canadian people. It's like organic. It's not anything to do with the Canadian government. Like Canadians have decided you don't want to buy American stuff. You don't want to travel to the US. That makes sense to me. This is a this is the premier of British Columbia, like officially asking, like a government representative of Canada asking people not to travel to the US? Seriously?
I'm asking British Columbians, if you have a choice, please don't travel to the United States.
Whoa. This is like different than the Doug Ford stuff. Doug Ford is like, objectively speaking, just like the truth. Like, Trump is acting like a baby, a clown, throwing tantrums, making crazy, nonsensical accusations. I did a video learning about the trade deal and the outrageous concessions that the United States was asking for. So now I understand why Canada did not accept the US trade deal. That's all just like factual. This is like, I don't know exactly what I'm trying to say. Somehow this is different. This is like he's telling Canadians to not travel to the United States. That's like, I I don't want to say like his personal opinion. I don't know. Like, of course he can say that. It's just I don't I don't think I've seen a Canadian government official. Well, no, Wob Canoe said to Canadians, "Don't buy American alcohol." So this has happened. It just seems to be getting more and more frequent. Just Canadian government people, like, just so pissed off and so anti-US that they're like saying to boycott, to protest, like literally. Wow. Like this isn't official Canadian policy. That's what I'm trying to say. This isn't like an official policy. This is him getting up there and just using his influence as a Canadian leader to be like, my fellow Canadians, don't travel to that place. Don't go there. We don't like them. Which is so there's something about that. That's it. Things are changing. That just tells me we've entered into a new place. We've entered into a new period uh, of escalation between the US and Canada, if this is happening.
Choose another place to do your tourism. If you can choose a Canadian product instead of an American one, please choose it.
Wow.
Right now, Canadian workers from coast to coast to coast need our support. With 50% tariffs imposed by the president on many products, by being our own best customer, we can help respond and support Canadians in every corner of this amazing country we call home.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, from a Canadian perspective, it makes total sense. I'm just saying, I guess as an American, like they're not showing this kind of stuff here on the US mainstream news, like on TV. They're not showing us this. I think that's why I'm so taken aback. Not because I don't understand. I totally get it. And honestly, if Americans were in the same position, we'd do the same exact thing. So it's just that in this situation, the US is the bad guy, which is, painful to say, but you every American at this point, like, come on. We can't live with our heads buried in the sand, for God's sake. Like, we got to admit we're doing some pretty awful stuff under the leadership of Donald Trump, but we voted for Donald Trump. We've elected him into office, so that's not an excuse. Here's a couple more clips. It's Doug Ford again.
I'm glad he didn't sign that deal because it was a bad deal.
Ontario's Doug Ford says he stands by the Prime Minister's decision to walk away.
It was a bad deal for Ontario. It was a bad deal for the auto sector, the steel sector, and manufacturing sector.
I didn't know how bad it actually was. Here in the US, if you just listen to the government, if you just listen to Donald Trump, and if you listen to our US trade representatives, they tell us the deal was incredibly fair. We're giving Canada an amazing opportunity. We're treating Canada, this deal is treating Canada better than any other country. We're rolling out the red carpet. Canadians are just crazy for being upset. That's what our side is trying to tell us. But the other day, I did more of a in-depth dive and watch some stuff Mark Carney said, explaining just how awful this deal was for Canada. Some of the stuff that the U.S. was asking for was not just damaging, but frankly insulting to ask for. So I'm not surprised at all to see Doug Ford saying he's glad Canada didn't sign. I agree. I totally get it. It makes sense.
And we never started this fight, but I can assure you, we're going to win this fight.
Yeah, Canada definitely didn't start this. That's something that the American government seems to have complete amnesia around. Our government is actually mad at Canada for retaliating, for having any problem with what we're doing. How dare you? And it's are we just pretending that we didn't start this? Are we just pretending that we didn't cause all this? What's going on here? I feel like I'm going crazy. Okay, so this is the Premier of British Columbia again.
British Columbia's Premier David Eby agrees, saying there were too many deal breakers.
Even Russian forest products have better access to the U.S. market right now than Canadian forest products.
Excuse me. But he's making me spit. Is that true? Is that serious? Is that a thing? I didn't know that. Oh my God. No wonder Canada is just done with us. There's Russian goods that have better access to the American market than Canadian goods? Forest stuff? What? What can you even say about that? Maybe that's kind of all you need to hear, frankly. That sums up a lot of what's wrong about what's going on. That's crazy.
And in that environment, the idea that we would be stocking U.S. liquor is absurd.
Expect that absurdity to last, says Manitoba's Wab Kinew, who had been one of the most openly critical of cutting a deal with Donald Trump.
Yeah, I watched him talking the other day, too. He has a lot of criticisms of Trump and the U.S., yeah.
But we should recognize that the Trump administration and the president are deeply flawed.
Yeah.
He's got 2 more years left in office. We should be prepared to duke it out for 2 years.
Is that kind funny enough from my American perspective, that's almost the mentality I have personally taken. Cuz I think a lot of us thought that this big US Canada trade deal was going to maybe this was going to be the start of a new beginning, a fresh start between Canada and the US, starting to mend this relationship instead of continuing to tear it apart. Now that this has fallen through and things are escalating, I don't know what there is to look forward to anymore. Like, I don't know what is supposed to happen at this point to remedy this situation, or if it can be remedied. It's that what he is saying, that maybe it's the first step is just waiting for Donald Trump to not be president anymore. Like, unfortunately, it's a fact that he's the president of the United States, and that might be just an insurmountable hurdle to get over for Canada-US relations. For now. Is that just how it is? Maybe. If there was some other country led by someone like Donald Trump doing all this crazy stuff to America, we wouldn't want anything to do with them ever. Definitely not until that leader was gone. So if I try to put myself in Canada's shoes, or perhaps into your toques, and think like you and be objective, that makes sense to me. That makes, and hopefully when Donald Trump is not president anymore, I mean, even after that, I'm curious, like, what's going to happen? Like, can things go back to the way they were? I'm not sure that could even happen based on what I'm hearing from Canadians.
And then hopefully sanity will return to America.
The premiers are bracing for job losses and calling for support.
Hopefully sanity will return to America. Indeed. I mean, hopefully at least my reactions demonstrate that some of us Americans have some sanity and do not like what is going on. We do not agree at all with what Donald Trump is doing to Canada. And frankly, most Americans don't even know the half of it. Like, I actually go out of my way to try to learn about just how egregious what we're doing to Canada, how egregious this trade deal details were. If Americans knew the whole story, maybe something more would be being said or done on our end. I don't know. If one thing's for sure, Americans definitely don't do anything to promote change until it really, really, really drastically affects their personal life. That's what I've learned. Because, like, look at our healthcare problems, our education costs, our costs of housing, and we have a lot of problems outside of our problems with Canada, and we don't even do a good job of addressing those. A lot of Americans are just, like, content because, you can live your life in the US and be like, for a lot of people, be happy enough, and happy enough is good enough for a lot of people. Especially when you are living your life sort of ignorant of a lot of these problems. So that's a lot of stuff I've been thinking about lately, and it's cool to see, to be able to go online and see the Canadian perspective of all this, and sort of get a better idea of the truth of the matter. And it was also kind of therapeutic, I'm not going to lie, to see what some of these premiers have very honestly to say about Donald Trump. So for those reasons, I enjoyed this, but I really don't know where this is headed at this point. But anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, especially if you're Canadian, hearing your thoughts and opinions on this. That'd be really cool. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things from my American sort of point of view, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.